the addicted people and this is the non-addicted people. That means that is a supervised.
Okay.
So that is the hypothesis-driven model.
Okay.
But the cluster analysis is a data-driven model.
Okay.
Okay, it is not already determined. Okay.
Okay. In case of cluster analysis, previously we cannot assume anything.
No, nothing.
Can you give one example in research data that
Sure.
this kind of data is cluster analysis?
I have done many research, so I can show you. Yes, I am showing you.
First one like data set, so where we can practice.
Now you have to collect the data. Otherwise, data basically misused. That is the main problem.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I find that people are misusing the data.
Yes, that's true, sir.
So that is the serious issue. Yeah, now I am showing you. This is the cluster analysis. But this cluster is different. It is the correspondence analysis. Okay. Now, here you can find out the one. One means present. And 0 means absent. Clear? So here is the symptom, grandiosity. So grandiosity is very common to the manic depressive disorder. So you will find the grandiosity complaint 1 present and manic depression classification, that is also 1. That means the symptom and the classification, the diagnostic classification, okay, they are close to each other. Okay, so that is one cluster. Here is another cluster. You can find out anxiety complaint.
Somatic symptoms.
And somatic classification. So the patient who are diagnosed as the somatoform disorder, doctors observed very high level of anxiety.
Okay.
They are also perceiving tension, tense complaint. Okay. And this is the conversion reaction, conversion classification. Conversion classification, that is also close to the hypochondriasis classification. Both hypochondriasis classification and conversion classification and somatoform classification, they are very common to the anxiety complaint and the what is this? Tension. Okay, so anxiety and tension, here you can find out anxiety complaint 1, tension complaint 1. Okay, so these, they are forming one cluster. But interesting point is stress show the patients who are suffering, who are identified as the stress disorder, we find the mannerism complaint is very high.
What is that, sir?
Mannerism complaint.
Okay, mannerism.
There are different mannerisms. Na?
Yes, yes.
That means we can develop the theory that is the patient who is suffering from the stress disorder. Okay, they have mannerism complaint, or the patient having the high mannerism complaint, possibly that patient has the high level of stress. Okay,
Sir, this is one cluster.
this total is a one cluster.
Okay.
So I've made it circle.
Each circle represents one separate
Yes.
cluster.
So, sir, how do you find this big circle and small circle?
This is the small circle because only two variables are very close to each other.
And
On the basis
sir,
of values. है ना?
1, 0. So the patient who has the complaint of grandiosity, they are under the category of manic. But this is not the K-means clustering. It is supervised clustering. Okay. That means doctors already prescribed some medicine. Patient visited the hospital. I collected the case history records. Okay. Of postgraduate hospital,
Okay.
Department of Psychiatry. Okay, and one MD student, MD in psychiatry, he did research under my guidance.
Okay.
He is now professor of Arjikar Medical College, Calcutta. It's a
Okay.
history, it's a long. And here you can find out schizophrenia. Can you find out schizophrenia?
yes.
So schizophrenia 1 is close to the
Hostility.
hostility complaint. That means the patient, maybe we have to do some research on it. That is the hostility complaint. Why it is close to the schizophrenia. This is the psychotic depression. Psychotic depression 1. Okay. And emotional withdrawal complaint 1. What does it mean? That means the patient classified as the psychotic depression. Okay. They reported emotional withdrawal.
Yes.
Or doctor observed emotional withdrawal in that patient. Okay.
Then what does that plus sign mean, sir? Plus.
Plus, that is the point.
Okay.
Plus is the point. Okay. This point, and the name is psychotic depression. CL
Okay.
means classification. And
Yes.
CLP means complaint.
Complaint. Yes. And what about other symptoms, those which are outside the circle?
For example, here you can find out anxiety complaint 0.
And complaint.
It is okay. Tension complaint is 0. In case of the psychotic depression, you will find the emotional withdrawal complaint rather than anxiety or tension.
Sir, these classification you have taken it independently yourself?
Listen. No, this classification given by doctor. It is the history of case history records.
And then you did cluster analysis.
Yeah, after that, I did the correspondence analysis. This is similar to the principal component analysis for the categorical data. When the data is 1, 0. Okay. So we can make this type of analysis. Usually,
Data 10 means
1, 0 means that you have this complaint or not.
okay. Yes or no.
Yes,
Like if yes 1 or no 0.
that's all. So the total data is like this. Interesting point here you can find out. That is the blunt affect.
Hmm.
So blunt affect, it is prevalent in case of the psychotic depression.
Hmm. And
But-
neurotic depression complaint.
Not the neurotic depression. That means the history of the records, because it is the history of the records.
Hmm.
And that is very famous hospital, psychiatric hospital, very famous psychiatric hospital. I collected data from them. And usually you will get this type of data. This type of data, actually they throw away. Maybe 10 years before there is some data, what will they do? They usually throw away. But I have designed this model that is, please, you do not throw away your data. Your data is vital. Okay. So interesting point is the patient who complained or who is diagnosed as the blunt affect, they are treated as the neurotic depression. So this is a serious flaws. But this can be explained by the psychiatrist only. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. In the whole interpretation part has been clear, but how you have done the whole thing is not clear, sir. It's very complex.
It is available in SlideShare. Once upon a time, I developed the model, and nowadays, many people are claiming that is they have created the model, because I have not claimed anywhere. Okay. That is called the psychoinformatics.
Okay.
And this model is psychoinformatics. This question comes, that is, there are many patients. Okay. Sometimes they are diagnosed as the psychotic disorder, etc. But there are some people, they are not at all the patient category. They are not psychotic. They are not any
They are normal.
disorder. They are normal.
Hmm.
Okay, but their behavior
Hmm.
has some typical type of behavior which
Hmm.
appears to be abnormal.
Okay.
And that is possible in India.
Yes.
Okay, because in India there are many sadhus.
Hmm.
and their behavior
Hmm.
seems to be abnormal
Hmm.
by the DSM.
Yes.
Okay. So once upon a time, you know, that is Ramakrishna Paramahansa Dev.
Sir,
Yes,
what is
yes.
DSM?
Yes.
Diagnostic and
Diagnosed as the schizophrenia.
Diagnostic and statistical manual.
statistical manual.
Yeah. So once upon a time, he was diagnosed as schizophrenia. Once upon a time, he diagnosed as epileptic.
Is it, sir?
No. So that means India should have own psychiatric nosology. I have told it repeatedly in different psychiatric conferences, but nobody bothers because people are following DSM. So why are you interested? But I
Oh,
have told
why
them, you
we
can
are
do this
doing this?
analysis. If you
Hmm.
have the large number of data, then you can do this analysis. What is wrong? But the only problem, nobody is maintaining the data.
Sir, the problem is we don't know the steps.
No, steps is not very difficult thing. Steps is not very difficult thing.
But for now, sir, it's like it seems
No,
very
it is
difficult.
simple. It is simple. It is simple. Chi-square, you know.
Yes, guys, where
In
you
case
talk.
of the chi-square, you can find out 2x2 contingency table. Okay. And there are two variables. Okay. And you are getting the association. But if there are more number of variables,
Hmm.
okay, and the variables are exclusive in nature, then how do you find out the association among them? That is the multivariate model. So this is the multivariate model of the psychiatric classification.
Okay.
When I was the governing body member of the insurance,
Hmm.
at that time, in one meeting, I asked, what about the mental health insurance? And at that time, the secretary and president, they also gave importance on the mental health insurance. But we do not get any good data. Then in Indian Statistical Institute, I first introduced the workshop with the psychiatrist, with the statistician, with the insurance people, etc. I have invited all of them for the conference. And so we are making a lot of the deliberation, discussions, and many things.
Yeah.
So in this way, we have developed the mental health insurance. And next to, I have submitted the mental health insurance, whatever the data, whatever the deliberations are there, we have submitted everything to the insurance. Okay. And now you can find out in Parliament that they are discussing, they have introduced Mental Health Insurance Act.
Okay.
And as the governing body member, I have given importance, that is, please you maintain the archive of the psychiatry. But I have received different type of response. One sec. বলো। হ্যাঁ, না শোনো, আমার কাছে তো ওই ধরনের বাচ্চা মেয়ে তো আসে না। মানে বাচ্চা বাচ্চা স্টুডেন্ট তো ওরা আসে না, আমার কাছে যারা আসে তারা তো অনেক সিনিয়র, মানে অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট প্রফেসর, অ্যাসোসিয়েট প্রফেসর, ডিরেক্টর, ইউজুয়ালি দে আর মাই স্টুডেন্ট। তোরা হয়তো আসতেও পারে। হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, ওকে বলো বলো। তুমি যদি বলো আমি তবে ওই যে সমস্ত ইউনিভার্সিটির ওই অ্যাডভাইসারি বডিতে আছি তাদেরকে আমি রিকোয়েস্ট করতে পারি, যেমন স্বামী বিবেকানন্দ, তারপরে ওয়েস্ট, তুমি আমাকে তবে ডিটেলসটা পাঠাও কি তার কোয়ালিফিকেশন, কি সে চাইছে, কি তাকে করতে হবে। সেটা তো আমি চিনি। রাজস্বী তো নিজেই বলতে পারে রমাকে, রমাকে বললেই তো রমা অনেক ব্যবস্থা করে দিতে পারে, রমার তো ওর সঙ্গে অনেকে পরিচয় আছে। সঞ্চিতার সাথে কথা বললেও হয়ে যাবে, সঞ্চিতা তো হেড। তারপরে শিবানীর সাথে কথা বলা যেতে পারে, এটা করা যেতে পারে, এটা এমন কিছু ব্যাপার না, কিন্তু এরকম একটা ভালো স্টুডেন্ট লাগবে তো তোমার, যে ঘোরাঘুরি করবে, একটা ছেলে লাগবে, এখানে মেয়ে হবে না, ছেলে পাওয়া ভুষ। না না, সে মেয়ে এখন, মেয়ে হলে একটু প্রবলেম হবে, মানে আমার নিজস্ব অভিজ্ঞতাই বলে। ছেলে হলে সে ঘোরাঘুরি করতে পারবে তাড়াতাড়ি করে, মেয়ে হলে দুদিন পরই বলবে আমার শরীর খারাপ করছে, আমার অমুক করছে তমুক করছে, সে ডেটা কালেকশন নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে। না না, ওটা ফ্যাক্ট। আমি যত পেশেন্ট, যতগুলো স্টুডেন্ট নিয়ে কাজ করেছি সবার কাছ থেকে আমি এই রেসপন্সই পেয়েছি। তুমি রেগে যেতেই পারো, কিছু যায় আসে না। Sorry, I think there is some discussion, no? I can't forget. So what is important, that is this classification is very vital, and if you have any hospital nearby, you can do this type of analysis. So this is also the cluster analysis. But this
Sir,
is
my point is, this classification is given.
classification is given by whom?
By doctors, to whosoever provide you
No,
data.
no, it is the basically the history of the case studies.
Yes,
So
sir,
if
these
you visit-
clusters,
no, no,
circles,
yeah, so
these circles you have made, you have taken out the values
no, no,
of
no, 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 no. I have not taken any value. That was basically the text data. This
Okay.
is basically the text data, na?
Mhm.
So if you do any clinical history,
Hmm.
the first point is the complaints, CHIP complaints. And the last point is the diagnosis. So I have collected these two. One is the complaint, another one is the diagnosis. And
Okay.
between that, many things are there. I am not concerned with that one. But if any researcher will be interested, that is good. So I have told it to the psychiatric community, you can do this analysis. At least the hospital people, they can understand.
Okay.
That is the prevalence of the different classified disorder and the prevalence of the complaint. So who are dealing basically the pharmaceutical company, they are very much interested with this type of data.
Right.
Yes, but who will collect the data? Many people are interested, but actually people are not collecting the data sincerely.
Hmm.
That is the problem.
Sir, I have collected some case study data from the psychiatric hospital. So, like, can those data be like clustered in this way?
Sure, why not? If you can collect this data, that is good. I have presented this to in the Department of Psychiatry, Department of Psychiatry of the Guwahati in Guwahati, Assam. And one head of the department, he basically invited me. I presented this data there also.
Okay.
Sir, a very basic question from my side. मतलब how you prepare this small and big clusters? मुझे अभी तक समझ में नहीं आया.
Which one?
Any
Cluster means
cluster?
this is a big cluster,
Yeah.
and this is a small cluster.
Yes.
I
How
think
you
that-
prepare it?
Because it's only the two data are there, na?
Yes, yes. And in the big circle, most of the symptoms.
More patients, more classifications are there, more complaints are there. So it's a big. More points are there. 1, 2, 3,
नहीं, how do you take
Four,
these so many
five.
points in one cluster?
6,
It has been automatically formed through the formula.
7. So
मैम वो अपने आप से हो गया है, वो मशीन करके दिया है ना. हम लोग पहले
This-
कंप्लेंट्स एक तरफ
Formula
कंप्लेंट्स
के हिसाब
और एक तरफ
is
डायग्नोसिस
basically
को
the
इनपुट कर दिए हैं.
supervised.
अच्छा अच्छा.
लाइक ये सर ने नहीं बनाया है,
Okay.
ऑटोमेटिकली लाइक फॉर्मूला के हिसाब से फॉर्म किया गया है. ठीक है.
ठीक है ठीक.
It is very easy. It is nothing.
Sir,
can
we
do
want to know the steps, sir.
People, anybody can do this. This is not the problem. But
But
the
how-
interpretation is important. Interpretation is important. And the model development, that is important. And finally, I have validated the model. But that is what's history. And now you can understand that student is the professor of one psychiatric hospital in Kolkata. So now you can imagine that is how many years back. So what is the current status? Maybe the different it will be. Is it clear, Motushi?
Sir, it is clear, but the thing is the underlying formula steps, it's
You want to know the secret?
yes.
सर हमारा क्लस्टर एनालिसिस तो तभी पूरा होगा ना जब हमें फॉर्मूला पता होगा.
Yes.
अभी तो थ्योरी पढ़ी है हमने सिर्फ.
Slowly learn. Okay. Now I find only Nirja submitted the PPT, Kamal submitted, Mona Lisa submitted.
Sir, after the class, I will also submit. I have prepared.
Okay, so please you submit, but your name is not here. You have not
Sorry.
joined Google Classroom?
I have joined, sir.
No, but your name is not here. What happened?
But I have joined. I don't know, like, do I need to like register or do something like that?
It is nothing. I am
But I
not
have
taking any money from any person.
Oh, sir, that
So here you can find out that is people are there, but your name is not
sir,
here.
the last one, the sir, last one is my mail. Yes, 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 yes.
This one, how can I understand?
Yes, sir. I have joined with another email. That's why.
Oh,
I'll like rename it, sir.
changed what? How?
Yes, I'll change it. I'll join with my actual like email.
Yes.
Okay.
I am thinking to delete this one because I
No,
have no idea who is Christian. Maybe
Yeah,
some,
yeah,
maybe some foreigner.
yeah. No.
So Indian people becomes foreigner. I cannot understand. This is another class chair.
Sir,
Yes.
what is turned in? What is seven assigned?
Okay, now I am coming to the today's class. Hmm. Now, in case of the hierarchical clustering and the k-means clustering, both types of clustering following the unsupervised machine learning. Okay, why it is unsupervised? Because there is no prior assumption that this individual will be in this cluster. Clear?
Yes, clear.
There is no prior assumption. We cannot say that this is the complaint, so he will be in this cluster. So we have
So in
no
hierarchy, so in hierarchical and k-means clustering, this is the basic assumption.
Yeah, so they are thinking unsupervised. So what is the advantage of the unsupervised?
So no
Because,
biasness. So
yes,
lack of
biasness free.
biasness.
Very good. It is free from biasness.
Yes.
Subjective, there will be no subjective biasness. Number one. And number two, when the data are random in nature, on which experimenter has no control. Yesterday, I have discussed about Pavlov's model, right? Oh,
Yes.
sorry, it's in literature. No? Okay, I think you can know the Pavlov's model.
Yeah.
So Pavlov followed the systematic approach.
Yes.
Okay, but Plato is a scientist, Aristotle also scientist. Okay, and you know that is who is the student of Aristotle? Can anybody tell me? Who was the student of Aristotle?
Plato.
The great Alexander.
Yes.
Okay, and great Alexander always collecting the different data. Initially some hypothesis. After that, he collected the data. And based upon the data, then he invented. Because he was the student of Aristotle. Aristotle assumes that the nature is systematic. Maybe during that period, nature is systematic, but nowadays we find that is climate is not the systematic, right? So the climate change that is random. Now everything is happening random. So we are in the world of the randomness. We are passing our life. It is a randomness. If you go to the Facebook, maybe the 5,000 people, they are posting different type of messages. And Facebook has no control, and no one has any control. Only some minimum control is there, if the, of course, Facebook has some minimal control, but and you go to the Amazon, you go to the Flipkart, you go to the anything in the virtual world, you will get the data random. So people are talking about the big data. Okay. So we psychologists, we are collecting 30 data and we are telling, okay, so this is the theory. So that time is gone. Okay, that era is gone. Because that is the hypothesis driven model. But now we are following the data driven model. So there is a paradigm shift from hypothesis driven to data driven model. So when we are following the machine learning, usually machine follows the data driven model. Okay. And machine follows the unsupervised, supervised, all those things. But particularly this hierarchical clustering and the K-means clustering, they are giving importance on the unsupervised machine learning. And these are some similarities. Both methods are used to group data points into cluster based on similarity or distance. Both methods are unsupervised, meaning they don't require any predefined labels or categories for the data. They both aim to find natural groupings or clusters within the data set. Is it clear now why it is unsupervised?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the difference? Hierarchical clustering is a bottom-up approach where each data point starts in its cluster, and these clusters are then merged as we move up the hierarchy. But K-means clustering is a top-down approach where we start with an initial guess for the number of clusters. So that is a major advantage as well as the disadvantage. Okay, so we are thinking that maybe there will be 4 clusters based upon the researcher's own insight. And then iteratively assign each data point to the nearest cluster and calculate the mean of the data points in that cluster. Okay. Cluster numbers. In hierarchical clustering, the number of clusters is not pre-specified, and the final number of clusters is determined by the dendrogram. Okay. By using the dendrogram, then you can identify, that is, how many clusters are there. But in K-means clustering, the number of clusters is pre-specified before the clustering process starts. Okay. So can you tell me at least names of 5 fruits, 6 fruits?
What's that?
Examples of fruits.
Fruit.
So banana, apple, pineapple, grapes,
Jackfruit.
kiwi.
Okay. You have said banana, apple, jackfruit, mango,
grapes, mango,
grapes. Any other?
so pineapple,
Pineapple.
Strawberry,
Okay, stop it now. Okay. Now you tell me how many clusters are there?
6 clusters are there.
6 are the independent variables. Now
One.
There's a one cluster.
One, okay. So initially it is a one cluster because everything is fruit.
fruit, yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you have to find out more cluster. You have to classify the fruit category into some other cluster.
Sweet fruit and
Okay, so one classification is the sweet, another one is the non-sweet. Is there any one? Banana, is it banana
fruit
sweet?
fruit having seed.
The ripen,
Jackfruit
unripen.
is sweet, jackfruit sweet. So everyone is sweet.
No, sir. Fruit
Sir,
having
According to
seed.
the size also, sir.
Yeah.
Ripen or unripen.
Okay, ripen, unripen. Any other?
And fruit having seed.
Okay. So all the fruits have seeds.
Yeah.
But sizes are different, sir.
Sizes are different.
And
So based
color.
upon the size, how many classification you can make?
At least 2, 3.
2
Medium,
to 3,
small
sir.
and big.
Medium size, small.
Small, medium, big.
Okay. What will be the big one?
Jackfruit.
No, sir, mango.
Mango.
Jackfruit is bigger than mango, I guess.
Yes. Mango is.
Watermelon.
Yes, melon can also.
Okay. That means whatever your impression is that you are not able to make any cluster. Why not? Because in one side is jackfruit, only one, and another 5 is making one cluster.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
So you have to divide in such a manner so that both clusters have more number of variables. You think. Okay, I am helping you. One is juicy, another one is non-juicy. Okay.
Okay, so mango, jackfruit, and grapes are juicy. Banana, apple.
Juicy or pulpy. Fine.
Okay, so banana, apple is not the juicy. Okay. And you have to extract the juice basically.
Hmm.
But the juice is prevalent, juice is there, that is not there. In case of the mango also, you have to extract the juice. In apple, you have to extract the juice.
Hmm.
Okay. That means we have to classify the data in such a manner so that the clusters will be significantly different from each other.
Hmm.
Otherwise, that clusters will not be the good cluster. Okay.
Okay.
Now, in hierarchical clustering, it does not use the centroid. Centroid means mean. for clustering, and it can be difficult to interpret the resulting cluster. But K-means clustering uses centroid to represent each cluster, and the algorithm tries to minimize the distance between the data points and their assigned centroids. Is it clear?
Yes.
That means mango, apple, and banana.
Hmm.
Okay. So whatever their parameters are there, you are making the mean, average. And there are some other, you have mentioned, that is other fruits actually. So there you are making that there is a juicy foods, and you are making the centroid mean. And now you have to find out to what extent the two centroids are close to each other. If the centroids are close to each other, okay, and if the individual variable is close to the centroid, okay, that means you can make the cluster. And your two centroids should be significantly different. Otherwise, we cannot tell, that is, you have the 2 or 3 clusters. Whether you have understood or not.
No, sir, can you explain it a bit?
Okay, you have mentioned the fruit, right? Now you
Yes.
tell me some vegetables.
Tomato, potato, capsicum, and bitter gourd, spinach.
Okay, now when I'm telling you tell the vegetables,
Hmm.
then you are starting tomato, potato, spinach, etc. Why are you not telling the cucumber?
Because it comes under fruit.
Yes. Okay, so cucumber is the variable which is close to the vegetable, again
But not
close
the
to the
vegetable.
fruit.
Hmm.
Understand my point?
Yes.
Now spinach is close to the vegetable centroid.
Hmm.
Okay, but cucumber is close to the fruit centroid.
Hmm.
But there are some cucumbers, they are usually in the category of vegetable.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
That is also there. If you go to the Blinkit or Amazon or Swiggy or etc., Instamart, there you can find out the cucumber
Hmm.
also in the vegetable group.
Hmm.
Cucumber in the fruit group. Cucumber is also in the vegetable group.
Hmm.
Understand? That means cucumber is close to the fruit centroid,
Hmm.
which is small, but
Hmm.
which is relatively more ripened. And that type of cucumber is close to the vegetable centroid.
Okay.
Is it clear now?
It is clear. So,
For example, in your study, open-mindedness.
hmm.
So open-mindedness, this is the personality factor. This personality factor, is it very close to the neurotic? Or it is very close to the extraversion?
Extraversion.
Yes. So that is your assumption.
Hmm.
That is extraversion and the open-mindedness and other whatever the variables are there. So they are all the variables, they are making some cluster. We do not know
Hmm.
whether there will be any cluster or not.
Hmm.
Because the assumption is that all the variables are independent in nature.
Hmm.
Okay, so we cannot make any cluster.
Hmm.
But if there are some of the items,
Hmm.
for example, maybe 12 items are there. These 12 items, they are measuring the neuroticism.
Hmm.
And 12 items are measuring the extraversion.
Hmm.
So what is the possibility for the 12 items of neuroticism are close to the extraversion?
Okay.
Okay. And what is the possibility for the extroverted, the items measuring extraversion close to the neurotic?
Hmm.
Do you find any type of classified disorder who are very much extroverted and they are highly neurotic? There is some diagnostic category, psychiatric disorder.
Yes, there are some disorders like that.
What
But
those?
The extreme sense of open-mindedness leads to neurotic behavior. Generally,
Okay. So that should be assessed. Okay, in the different context.
sir, one question is there. When you say what is the possibility that 12 items of neuroticism close to extraversion and possibility of extraversion close to neuroticism, is there any difference between the two?
Because there is one type of patient category, somatoform disorder and the conversion reaction. Okay, and they are neurotic and they are extroverted. Okay.
नहीं सर, दोनों statements में कोई difference है?
So you have to study that one. Because if you find another one, the obsessive compulsive disorder, they are highly introverted and high neuroticism. It is not my classification. If you
Okay.
study the Handbook of Abnormal Psychology by H.J. Eysenck, then you can find out this classification. It is not my classification.
No. Okay, fine.
Okay. So please you study Handbook of Abnormal Psychology by H.J. Eysenck. There you can find out this classification. It is not my classification.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So when you deal with the patient, at that time you have to study the premorbid personality of the individual. Then you can make the better prognosis.
sir, it's very confusing when we study like morbidity and comorbidity.
Comorbidity, yes, comorbidity.
Very overlapping.
Yeah,
It confuses a lot.
psychiatric comorbidity is a very serious issue.
Yes.
Okay. Now I am coming to the centroid. In summary, both hierarchical and K-means clustering have their own strength and weakness. Hierarchical clustering is better suited for small to medium-sized data set. So when you have the small data set, maybe you have the 30 data set, or maybe the 10 data set, maybe the 15 data set, then you can do this type of analysis. Less than 50 is fine. But in case of when your data size is very big, for example, here Motoshi's data 350.
Yes.
So
there-
here hierarchical clustering is not possible.
Hmm.
Then you have to follow the K-means clustering.
Okay. Sir, why it is named K-means?
K means, so means you, I think you have understood. That is the centroid.
Yes,
And K means number of variables.
okay.
So there are many variables.
Hmm.
চলে এসো আসুন okay, so when there are more number of variables, at that time how do you handle the variables?
Hmm.
Maybe you have the 100, maybe you have the 200 variables,
Hmm.
maybe you have the 300, maybe 10,000 variables.
Hmm.
How do you handle?
Then we can use K-means clustering.
Yes. Is it clear now?
It is clear.
Any question?
No, sir. Sir, can you explain that centroid a little bit?
Centroid is nothing but the mean.
Okay.
Central tendency, na?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have only one data set, at that time you are talking about the central tendency.
Hmm.
But when there are more number of variables,
Hmm.
then you are getting the parameter of all the variables, and then you are making the another grand mean type of. So this grand mean, that will be considered as the centroid. But centroid has some other. Okay, I'm presenting you this centroid. What is that? In data science and machine learning, a centroid is a mathematical representation of a cluster of data points. Okay. And it is the mean of the points in a cluster and is used to represent the cluster as a single point in space.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
What is the whiteboard? You cannot see in the whiteboard. Okay, I'm showing you some of the. This is not the picture that I will show you. This is clear to you?
Yes.
Suppose this is the anxiety related, all the symptoms are there. Okay.
Hmm.
So this is the centroid where the arrow is there. Okay.
Hmm.
And from here to somato classification, the distance. And the distance from this to the conversion.
Hmm.
And also the distance to the phobia.
Hmm.
And the distance to the stress.
Okay, that's central point.
Yes. So this is the centroid.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
So distance in between the variables in one cluster.
Yes, this is the set of the cluster. And suppose this is the centroid. Centroid will be at the middle point. And from here to here, from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here, from here to here. So distance very high. Correct. And the centroid of this one, that is very high. From here to here, the distance is very high. Distance from this place to this one, that is high. But distance to this very close. Therefore, they are making one cluster. So centroid is important. Is it clear now?
Yes.
But in hierarchical clustering, we are following the distance. That is the rank distance. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
And in hierarchical clustering, the data set will be small. But in K-means clustering, we can handle the large number of data.
So should I leave?
Now I am also leaving, so you don't worry.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Okay,
so
sir.
I stop share. So whatever I have discussed, please you write down. You make one PPT and you will submit to the Google Classroom.
Okay,
Sir,
sir, thank you.
the whole thing need to like include in the previous PPT, or do I need to like make another separate PPT?
You have to add the both PPT. Just you
Okay.
write down, that is the first class, this, second class,
Oh.
this.
Okay, okay.
Maybe
Okay, sir.
today's PPT will be very small,
Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
but if you
Okay.
want to say something more, then automatically it will be the big.
Yes, yes.
It is up to you.
Okay, sir.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you,
thank you.
Shumi, Monalisha, Kamal, Hashmi, Nirja.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much,
sir.
sir,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
for making us add to our knowledge something very new.
Yes.
Thank you, madam. So please you share your experience in the Google Classroom.
Okay,
And
thank
sorry, in